So I tried Upwork for a month and it didn't really go how I expected it to. So I am brand new to freelancing, and Upwork was one of the main platforms that come up when you're doing research to find, where to get gigs at. So I tried it for a month, and this is my honest take on how that experience was for me. So scrolling through Upwork, my first impressions are this is a pretty comprehensive platform. It's pretty popular. I've seen their ads on TV, obviously all over the internet. I've heard people talk about it. It just seems like the go-to place for most people to go and be discovered, and people at different companies and small businesses to find freelancers. So I'm brand new to freelancing. At this point, I only had two platforms that I was aware of to begin to find work on, and that was Upwork and Fiverr. And so, in terms of Upwork, this one for me at least seemed to be the platform that had the kinds of clients I was looking for. It seemed like on Upwork, I'd be able to find higher paying gigs and long term partnerships with different clients and brands. Fiverr just seemed to be more, short term, quick. How can I get you to do something for me as cheap as possible? Where Upwork seemed to be more like, let's establish a long term relationship here if you do some good work. So I really wanted to take my time and figure out like how to really present myself the best way on Upwork, because at this point in time, I felt like Upwork was going to be my main source of income. So when I was creating a profile, I obviously created like my more generic graphic design branding profile that had the website design services as well as the logo and full brand identity services. But Upwork also allows you to create these more specialized profiles, just to help you, I guess, sell your services more depending on what gig you're applying to. So I also created the more specialized profiles as well. So I created a profile for logo design as well as website design. So going into it, I was already kind of annoyed around the whole idea of connects. Like, I get it, Upwork has to make money. While Upwork has a free plan for freelancers, I actually decided to sign up for Freelancer Plus, which gives you additional benefits like 100 connects a month. You can view competitor bids. You have access to the AI, which I never used, and a 0% service fee if you bring clients over yourself to Upwork. And so I mainly signed up for that so I can get the connects and see the analytics in terms of like who was bidding on what, for future reference, because mind you, I'll go into this in detail, but I didn't add any extra connects on any bids during my first month with Upwork. But basically with that in mind, my initial expectations in signing up for Freelancer Plus was that I would have the advantage of those 100 connects and be able to see, who was bidding on what, and potentially be a little bit more strategic around what I was spending my connects on. Because if I saw that people were bidding, 20, 30 plus connects over what the original bid required, I'm not going to waste my time on applying for that gig. So in terms of strategy, I basically split my week between what my focus was for the day and what experience level I was going to apply for. And so basically for half the week, I would focus on doing just Squarespace applications. And for the other half of the week, I would focus on doing just brand identity applications. I felt like my Squarespace application and profile was stronger than my brand identity, just because I have been designing websites myself for quite some time, and I have helped other people design their websites as well, just using Squarespace. But branding was sort of new. Branding was something that I would just do myself for the own brands that I was trying to create. But I didn't really have any like experience in packaging up a complete brand identity for someone. So while I did like the way my stuff looked, I never really had the experience and the feedback in giving it over to someone else. So I sort of wanted to make sure that when I was doing the branding applications, I pretty much stuck to entry level requirements there. With Squarespace, I would go back and forth between entry level and intermediate gigs. So the numbers. Yeah. So again, I was only on here for a month, and as you can see, I did 98 proposals sent. Only 22 of them were viewed, and I got one interview, which wasn't even an interview. It was just someone asking me a question, and that was it. I answered his question. He never said anything back. I followed up. He went with someone cheaper. So yeah, so that's 22% of my proposals were viewed. Keep in mind, I did not bid any extra connects on any of those proposals. That was not part of my strategy. I wanted to see what I can get with just spending the amount that was required in terms of connects. And again, I feel like that's just another cash grab on Upwork's part, asking people to spend more money to make sure that their proposal is seen. Like, for me, not spending any more money than already necessary, even having a freelancer plus account, only 20% of my proposals were actually viewed. I mean, that's pretty disappointing. Again, I already am a paying freelancer, which is wild to me to know that I'm seeking work, but I have to pay to use this platform. Meanwhile, you're getting money on both sides from the freelancers and the business users. But that's besides the point. Main point here being, without adding any extra connects, without spending any more money to get my proposal seen, only 20% of my proposals were viewed in that month. And I got one interview, which it wasn't even an interview. It was really just someone asking me a question. I answered it. I followed up, and the person told me that he went with someone a lot cheaper, which my rates weren't even crazy. Like, I think at that point, I was only charging, I think, $15 an hour. And this person wanted a website done for less than $15 an hour. And it wasn't like it was a single landing page. It was like 7 pages. He showed me the website that he wanted. It was it wasn't a pretty looking website, but I could do it. And I think I might have maybe billed him half a day or something like that. I don't even remember what it was, but my hourly rate was only $15. Yeah, I think I kept it at an hourly rate. I was like, yeah, $15 an hour. And he went with someone cheaper than that. So again, it was just, my first impression is just race to the bottom kind of. So during that month, I found myself becoming more and more frustrated with the whole process of applying to these gigs, because on one hand, there are some pretty high quality gigs on Upwork, but you're not going to get seen unless you bid extra connects on them. And I'm not talking about 2 to 3 extra connects. I'm talking about like 20, 30 plus extra connects on those bids. And again, if you don't get the job, you don't get those connects back. So it adds up. You're going to be spending a lot of money each month on the opportunity to basically be seen. Which in the long run, does it pay off? I don't know. Like, how many of you guys are actually using Upwork, and what is your strategy? Because I'm obviously new. I don't really know what I'm doing, but my first impressions of this platform is that they're just taking advantage of people looking for work. So yeah, that's part of why I kind of stopped, because I also felt like I would have a better chance at being seen if my portfolio were also better. I would feel more confident in spending more money in Upwork, in making sure that my proposals were seen if I had better work. So I actually decided to take a graphic design course and a Squarespace design course. And once that's finished, I will be resuming my applications on Upwork. I know the Squarespace design course will be wrapped up before the graphic design course. So I'll likely just start as a Squarespace designer on Upwork and probably Fiverr and update my progress there. But I'm not happy about using Upwork. This is a platform that I really don't want to use. I just unfortunately don't see any other alternatives. I know there's Behance. I will be putting myself out there on Behance. I will have my own Instagram. I will also be using Contra. If anybody out there is watching who actually uses Behance and or Contra and is finding success, I would love to hear your thoughts there. Just looking on Reddit, Contra seems to be like really, really new, and it seems like there are more, I guess with any platform, there's going to be more people looking for work than there are jobs available. I don't know, but I've seen that people are advising not to sign up for their paid account just because there just aren't that many jobs available yet to make it work, to make it worth it. They're sort of building out their talent pool. Similar with Behance, it just seems like people use it if you already have clients and you sort of just bring them on there for the transactions. But again, I don't know. I'm gonna try all of these. I'm gonna get my portfolio together and I'm gonna try all of these and keep you all updated. But I'm not happy about using Upwork, and I will be getting back on Fiverr. Fiverr is hard because you don't even have the opportunity to start advertising until you get your first gig. But it's just like, how do you expect me to get my first gig if I'm on like page 57? So I don't know. I'm gonna put myself out there and try it again. All I can do is try. But those are my honest thoughts on my first month at Upwork. Not happy, and I am definitely not excited to use the platform again.